It is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker tonight. Alyssa Saenz is a 2005 graduate of Premont High School, where, among other accomplishments, she was a two-time state champion and a national finalist in speech and debate. After high school, she earned her bachelor's degree in political science at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island. Following her graduation from Brown, she was accepted into Teach for America, where she served 2 years as a high school geography teacher at San Benito ISD. Upon the completion of her Teach for America commitment, Alyssa attended St. Mary's University School of Law on a full academic scholarship. During her time at St. Mary's, she was awarded the Best 1L brief, was a member of the mock team trial team, and an associate editor of the St. Mary's Law Journal. Alyssa began her legal career in law in 2014 and currently practices at Norton Rose Fulbright in New York City, where she primarily focuses her practice on cybersecurity and e-discovery. Alyssa is accompanied today by her family, including her husband Kyle and 18-month-old son Luke. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Alyssa Saenz.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for that warm introduction, and thank you to everybody for allowing me the opportunity to speak tonight. First and foremost, I want to say congratulations to the class of 2021. You did it, you're here, you're done. It's very exciting. To the audience, I want to remind you that these incredible students have overcome immeasurable obstacles to sit in front of you here today, and I feel truly privileged to be able to celebrate alongside you. I remember sitting at the old stadium more than 15 years ago in my red cap and gown. I was excited, I was nervous, I was scared, and I couldn't wait for the graduation speakers to wrap it up because I had better celebrations to attend that night. So I promise I'll try to keep it short if you'll bear with me for just a moment. When I was in high school, I was heavily involved in speech and debate, and those of you who knew me back then might even say that I was a little obsessed. And in that program, I was taught to start a speech with a relevant quote. My former coach, Dr. Stephen Montemayor, who should be watching tonight, would insist that I follow that wise advice today. So after a bit of research, I came upon a perfectly cheesy graduation classic that goes something like this. Success is where hard work and opportunity meet. It's a common quote. Many of you have heard it before. There are lots of variations. And a few of us, if you were in high school when I was, had it written across the back of playoff t-shirts over the years. Every time I hear this quote though, the focus is always on the hard work part. And that's fair. Hard work is incredibly important and essential to discovering exactly how far you can go. But today, I want to flip the script a little bit and focus instead on opportunity. We all know people that assume that their big break didn't come because the opportunity just never presented itself. They wait their entire lives for that moment to occur, as if it's going to ring their doorbell and announce itself like, hey, it's me, I'm the moment, come and get me. But that doesn't happen. In reality, what I think the quote is about is the types of opportunity that are more difficult to come by, not the ones that just fall into your lap. Instead, I think it's about the opportunities that you seek out and the moments that you are willing to seize. The times that in the face of uncertainty, you decide to say yes, instead of allowing your self-doubt, complacency, or even fear to say no for you. The opportunity part of the quote urges us all to make ourselves available and willing to accept whatever the universe has to offer. For the past 16 years, I walked a fairly uncertain path a lot of the time. The truth is, I rarely knew what I was doing or even how to do it. I was very often intimidated and unsure of myself, feeling like it was only a matter of time before the other people in the room discovered that I didn't belong there. But I knew the formula: hard work plus opportunity. If I just keep saying yes and taking chances on myself, if I just keep working hard, I'm going to end up exactly where I'm meant to be. Or at the very least, at the end of this adventure, I'll know exactly how far I was capable of going. Seeking opportunity and being willing to say yes has allowed me to live in beautiful places like Seattle, Florence, Italy. I've met incredible people along the way who truthfully taught me the greatest lessons of my life. I was able to live out my childhood dream of going to Brown University and being an attorney in New York City. My life has truly lived up to my wildest dreams. And I know that what made the difference for me was a willingness, and a stubbornness even, that made me say yes. Yes, I can, and yes, I will. When Principal Garcia asked me to speak tonight, she explained to me how special this class is. The first to experience all 4 years at Premont Collegiate High School, a class that faced the adversity of a global pandemic and decided to overcome. You are a class of pioneers, a group of young adults that said, yes, I can, and yes, I will, when opportunity presented itself. Take that energy with you into the rest of your life and realize right now, tonight, that saying yes is what opens the doors to your life's greatest accomplishments. My best advice to you is to keep being pioneers. Take the trip to the place that you've never heard of. Accept the job, enroll in the class, open the business. Look for opportunities that move you and reach out to grab them. Take the calculated risks that bring you closer to your dreams, even if they're cloaked in uncertainty. Because dreams don't just descend down upon us from the heavens like rain. You have to reach out into the clouds and grab them yourself. And when you lose faith, because no path is without its obstacles, remember that Premont has raised unbelievably successful people. Doctors, nurses, politicians, generals, business owners, award-winning teachers, farmers that feed families across America, and people who simply go to bed happy and fulfilled each night. Always remember that you are in good company, and there is nothing that a kid from Premont can do. All right, so I think we're probably at the part of the speech that all the graduates are zoning out and really hoping that I wrap it up soon, which is fair. But if you'll indulge me just a moment longer, I want to take a moment to address the audience, the people who love and support and celebrate these graduates tonight. Hopefully y'all are still listening. When Principal Garcia called me and invited me to speak, I almost immediately shared the news with my oldest brother, Jaime. And he was kind enough to remind me that 15 years ago, when it was my turn to walk across the stage, I tripped. But I didn't fall, because someone, an usher, reached his hand out to steady me. Little did I know that moment would be a metaphor for the path that I would walk for the rest of my life. It was just one of the moments that I felt unsure of my footing, where I stumbled but managed to stay standing because the people around me kept me steady. People used to ask me all the time how or even why I went to Brown for college. It was 2,000 miles away from home and I didn't know anybody, and truth be told, I barely knew where Rhode Island was. If you ask why, it's because a stranger on a bus when I was 6 years old told me that I should. But if you ask how, it's largely because the people that mattered to me never told me that I couldn't. My point in telling you these stories is to remind you that you help build the ceiling for the people sitting across from you tonight. Because to them, you are the people who matter. Be the person in your child's life that tells them what they can do instead of just what they can't. We give our children everything we can so that they can live easier, bigger, fuller, and more beautiful lives than we did. Instead of shielding them from failure or protecting them from the world that can be so scary, encourage them to reach their full potential and never settle for what's easy. Sometimes it's the difficulty, the challenge that makes it worth doing, and that's what makes it great. My life has been full of unexpected adventures, in part because my family never questioned that I'd succeed. They treated my accomplishments almost like foregone conclusions. My husband, who was my high school boyfriend, has always made me feel limitless, like there's nothing I can't do. They're the people that stopped me from falling, that steadied me, and then encouraged me to keep going. In so many ways, it's thanks to you, the people in the audience, that these graduates are sitting here today. So give yourselves tonight off. I think that you deserve it. But then wake up tomorrow and keep encouraging the people that you love to reach for their dreams. And when they fall, and they will, encourage them to stand back up and keep seeking opportunity. Encourage them to keep saying yes to themselves. Graduates, I'm almost done, I promise. I want to leave you with one last quote. One that Miss Irma Johnson introduced me to once upon a time and was scrawled across my own graduation invitations. This Robert Frost poem has been a beacon of my life. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all of the difference. Congratulations to the graduates of 2021 and to the people who love them along the way. Thank you for your time, and cowboy up.